what I found is there were so many misconceptions, you know. I had people say, stay away from the Shia, they spit in your food. Can you imagine? Yeah, honestly. And stay away from them, they brainwash you. Stay away from them, they beat themselves, you know. Stay away from them this reason, stay away from them that reason. None of it's true. When you actually look and you ask a Shia, you know, and you get to know somebody that follows Ahlul Bayt, you realise, hang on a minute, this is all put out there to stop people looking into Shiism, definitely. You know, it's all rumours and it's horrible, you know. But yes, I weren't able to approach people with it. One, I was afraid because I'd already had some attitude from certain people regarding it. Two, why do I need it? I've got so much evidence from Sunni books, you know. And to be honest with you, when you ask, when you look, I even done research on the internet and I looked at, you know, what the Sunnis have to say, an answer to what the Shia have to say. And their arguments are so weak, you can see right through them, you know. The arguments that they have to say, you know, why certain things happen, why these things are in their hadith, nothing adds up. So why would I need to ask, you know, somebody that in a mosque that I was going to, and you know, because they wouldn't have had the answers anyway, you know. After I'd read Then I Was Guided on the first occasion, I really was uncomfortable with the fact that I knew that something was wrong, and the fact that I was ignoring it. I was uncomfortable with myself. I was quite horrified to see that Bibi Fatima alayhi salam had an argument with one of the caliphs, and I asked somebody about it and they just said that it was because Bibi Fatima didn't understand that her father didn't leave anything in a will. And you know, that wasn't an answer for me, because she would know. You know, are they saying that somebody who was with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was unfamiliar with how things were, you know, and she would know if something was left in a will or it wasn't left in a will, you know, and to say that a caliph would know better than her, it just didn't add up. But I still found it quite hard to look any further. I was actually scared because my whole life was going to change, and I knew that. I knew that I would no longer have some of the friends that I had, sadly, and I kind of thought that even my family may not accept it, and then I would be literally isolated. So it was a huge thing that I had to take into consideration. But I always felt I wasn't true to me, I wasn't true to myself, because I knew there was something wrong and I was leaving it, and I left it on the shelf. I couldn't return the book. It wasn't a loaned book, but I couldn't even get rid of the book. I just felt that I needed it. I don't know why, but I just felt I couldn't get rid of that book. Then I was guided. And I just dismissed it after that. It was more comfortable for me to just leave it in the back of my mind than actually do any more research, because I knew it was coming with a lot of consequences. And then it was literally a year later when I'd actually seen that some of the family had been slaughtered. Some of the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam's family was literally slaughtered, and it was like, why? You know, I'm quite a suspicious person anyway. I look into everything and I make sure of everything, and I actually ask a lot of questions, maybe some uncomfortable ones. In fact, I had one Sunni say to me once, don't look too deep into things, you know, and that for me is like, you know, as I even had somebody say to me once, you shouldn't have these books. I used to have some Sufi books as well, because I don't mind reading anything. I'm not afraid to read anything, you know. And so they would say, no, people will think you're this, people think you're that. So I had an argument with that person over that, because I said, no, you know, if somebody is afraid, yeah, for you to go and do research, it means that there's something wrong with their beliefs. That's how I feel. Because, you know, at the end of the day, what's true is true, and what's wrong is wrong. And for you to, as a human being, to be able to decipher that, yeah, you need to be able to read. You shouldn't ever put one book to a side. You should read everything and not be afraid to read everything, you know. That, you know, so anyway, getting back to what I was saying about the fact that I just left it to one side. I couldn't get rid of it, and as I said, when I saw that these people had been slaughtered, there had to be more. How did so many family members, yeah, get slaughtered, one after the other, murdered even, one after the other, without there being a cover-up somewhere? There had to be a cover-up, you know? And that's why I ended up doing more research. I had to, because that's how I am. And the more I looked into it, the more I could see it was the truth. The more I could actually gain evidences from the Sunni books. You know, it's like it wasn't even from the Shia books. It was all from the Sunni books. There wasn't just evidences from the Sunni books. There's even evidence in the Bible, if you look. You know. And so I knew, at that point I knew I couldn't go back. I could not go back to the way to what I believed before. So I decided to take my Shahada again. There is you know, some people may go, oh, yeah, you know, the Shahada is the Shahada, but you know, at the end of the day, yes it is, I'll agree with that. You know, whatever the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us, that's what we should follow. But just to add something on is not going to send me to hellfire, now is it? You know? So I added that Ali is the friend of Allah, because I felt that I needed to just state that from my tongue to know that, yes, Ali was a friend of Allah's, and yes, there are many enemies of Allah. So, and that was my reasoning behind it. And so I became a Shia and came to the path of Ahlul Bayt, and I've never regretted it, because the more I look into it, the more I can see, yeah, this is the path. This is what I was talking about when I had all those arguments, you know, about how you should conduct yourself as a person, as a human being, you know, how you should treat yourself, how you should treat other people, you know, how you should conduct yourself in a peaceful manner. You know, not go out there going, this one's kafir and that one's kafir and you shouldn't talk to this one because of this and you shouldn't talk to... No. You never heard a prophet, our prophet, peace be upon him, ever talking badly, you know, in those kind of manners. And I think, you know, if you truly are a searcher of the truth, and I mean this, go do your research. Look at how our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Look at his family, how they behaved. And then you'll see the true path of Islam, and then you won't have the negativities in your life that you already have. And I think some of you know what I'm talking about. This is actually a compilation that I've you know, compiled about hadith and different notes to show the evidences that I've taken from when I was from the Sunni books. Lots of my students now come to me and we've actually compiled them together. I've made a few also for some Shia sisters that wanted this as well, because everything in here, or most of what's in here, is from Sunni sources. For instance, I spoke earlier about Fatima and how she was angry, and there is one place in here, if you just bear with me, that I can show you, that shows, just bear with me on this, here it is. You have a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari, as they wrote it here, hadith number 61.5, and it's narrated by al-Miswa bin Makhrama, and it says, Allah's apostle said, Fatima is a part of me, and he who makes her angry makes me angry. And you can see there's many hadiths speaking of the argument that she had. And there's one in particular where it says, I'll just read this portion to you here. Therefore, again, this is narrated by Aisha. This is in Al-Bukhari, and this is hadith number 8.718. And it says here, therefore, Fatima left the Caliph and did not speak to him till she died. And there's lots more. You know, there are so many in Bukhari and Abu Dawud and places like that where it shows that she was angry, you know. Another, just a quick point, you know, the 12 Imams, when I saw that they were all slaughtered, I started to do a little bit of research on those. And one thing that was really interesting was that they're mentioned in the Bible. And so I have a place here where I have the 12 Imams, if you just bear with me. I've sectioned them all off so that I know really where to go and find the places. Yeah, there you go. Now this is in Genesis chapter 17 verse 20. And there are many different Bibles. You know, you've got the World English Bible, the Young Literal Translation, the English Revised Version, the Derby Bible, and so forth. And then more on this page, and you've got the American Standard Bible, the New Living Translation. You've got the King James Bible, which everybody knows, and I'll read from that one in particular. And it says this, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him and made him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Who are the 12 princes that the Bible speaks of? This isn't Isaac, I'm pointing out here Ishmael. Ishmael was the other son of Ibrahim, alayhi salam. And so, you know, even the Bible will tell you that there were 12 princes coming. What you need to ask is, who are they? There are some scholars, and I have some evidences here that show that they say that there was, because our Prophet, peace be upon him, mentions that they will all be from the Quraysh, they actually mention a few names. And they come to about, there's a famous scholar called Ibn Kathir, and they come to, he came to a point where he'd got 4 or 5 people that he said were the 12 princes or the 12 caliphs to come from the Quraysh, but he can't go any further, and what he says is they're to come. Well, if that's the truth, then I'd like to know when. Confusing, or not, if you actually look into it and you find out that there has been 12 imams, and sadly most people don't even know them. So yeah, anyway, I compiled this, and lots and lots of people have this now, because I do lots of classes on it, and I also give them out when I can as gifts. So it's getting fuller by the day, because I'm always doing research. It never ends. Never ends. There's always something to add to it. Story that happened to me when I first came to this path. You know, I used to spend so many hours studying, and I could quote so many hadith, you know. And then when I came to this path, I thought, oh dear, I've gone and studied, and it's been a waste of time. And I was so upset by that, because the knowledge that I had was now all gone, because I didn't know what was right and what was wrong anymore. And it troubled me a lot. And then I had a dream, I think it was on the 9th night of Muharram, and a man came to me with the most amazing eyes, piercing, really. And he said, why, very peaceful looking, he said, why are you troubled? What? You don't need anything but this. And he handed me a red and gold book. And I'd already had this given to me by a young lady that helped me called Salwa. She's been absolutely amazing, a huge support. And basically she'd given me this as a gift when I first started looking into the path of Ahlul Bayt. But I put it on the side. I mean, it was just a book to me at the time, and I didn't realise the importance of it. And then, you know, she, as I said, she gave me this book and I put it away, and then I didn't look at it even a year later. You know, I thought, how can a book with du'as in it be all I need? It made no sense to me. But what was interesting was that about a day or so later I saw a picture of an artist's impression of Hussein alayhi salam. Subhanallah, it was so much like him. Maybe the chin was slightly different, but that was the same person that came in that dream to me. And for a year I was puzzled by why would a book of du'as be all I need. When I've read this book a year later, because I do take my time sometimes, subhanAllah, it's written by his son, Imam Zain al-Abidin, and it's like, wow, subhanAllah, you know, he's given me a book that's written by his son, and when I've actually read it and seen some of the du'as in it, it is amazing, absolutely amazing. You can tell that, you know, this person was not a normal human being. You know, he was somebody else, somebody special, definitely. And when you actually look into some of the du'as, you know, that these imams have written, you know, it's like, I can do 3 du'as, 3 sentences in a du'a, and that's where I get to, finished. You know, and I'm sure many of you know that. When you do a du'a to Allah and it comes from the heart, okay, some of you may be able to be a little bit more creative, let's say, if that's the right word to use. But at the end of the day, when you see these du'as, you know somebody special has written them. You know, definitely. So yeah, that was just an amazing event in my life that helped to convince me even more.
The first time you heard Dua Kumail when you watched it,
yeah, Dua Kumail, subhanallah. You know, again, Salwa, bless her, she took me down to the Islamic Centre of England in Maida Vale, and they have a huge screen that they do Dua Kumail in English subtitles. And so hearing it, me and another sister, Anissa, she came with me, and we sat and listened to this dua for the first time. Amazing. You know, we both cried at the same point. And I knew from then, that I think was my pinnacle, if that's the right word to use. It was my turning point where I knew that this was definitely the right path. Because when you hear Dua Kumail and the translation is nowhere near what Arabic is. I understand some Arabic, and I do know that the English translation is quite bland to what it truly is, but even that, in the English translation, is amazing. It's like, wow, nobody can do a dua like that, I'm telling you. You've got to hear it to actually understand it. And subhanallah, it's a dua that's impossible for a normal human being to do, definitely.
Don't say I don't do. That's only been in high-heeled lady shoes.
I don't know, growing up as a Muslim, there's never been something foreign to me, to be honest. It's like born a Muslim, but most other Muslims around me see me as a newcomer, you know, all the time. And there's a little bit, people are surprised to see that I'm a Muslim in the first place. This is like when I'm a Sunni Muslim. I think up until the age of 21, about a year ago, 2 years ago maybe. Yeah, for about 20 years, just, you know, talking. I think mostly I grew up with Wahhabis, and seeing like their harsh views on Islam. and they used to bring the trousers above the ankles and a really long scruffy beard they used to have, you know. And
Sorry.
yeah, basically that's the image I used to have. I used to have the image that like if you don't have a beard, then that's like a really bad thing. Like that's the main thing of Islam, basically, is a beard, and the small nitty-gritty things over, you know, the main things, which is your personality, you know, your kindness towards others, that kind of thing. Until I came, you know, to the path of Ahlul Bayt through my mother. When my mum told me that she was looking into Shiism and she wants to become a Shia, I got a bit angry, you know, thinking, why all of a sudden, you know, you become a Shia? And she slowly showed me all the truths blatantly in front of my eyes. I couldn't deny it, you know, and I was in a bit of a state of confusion. Like, everything I've learned up until the age of 21, everything I knew to be my Islam, all of a sudden changed, you know. And I was in a bit of denial, you know. I felt a bit uncomfortable, but I couldn't deny the truths in front of me of, you know, some
I
of the
took you to Sakina Trust as well, and you spoke to Sheikh Ayu. Do you remember?
Sheikh Ayu.
He answered a lot of questions.
Yeah, he answered a lot of questions, definitely. As a white person, usually when I go into mosques and that, you can feel it a little bit, you know. People, not all people Asians, not all Asians are racist, but some, you know, and you get that bit of uncomfortability. They're not as friendly towards you, or they won't teach you as much, you know. But with the Shias, they were very friendly, you know, willing to answer any questions at all. My first reaction, I was very shocked that you see all of the imams are killed off, you know, and you think to yourself, why aren't we taught this as Sunnis? It's a bit crazy, you know. And that was a major shock to me, because all my friends, when I was talking to them about that, they didn't understand, or they didn't want to know. And the scholars that, you know, I'd ask, you know, why aren't we taught this, they say, in case you become a Shia, which isn't a very good excuse, you know. And I think there was one talk I went down to, I'm not too sure of the Sheikh's name. Hilly, yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know, I thought that these people are crying, you know, it's, I couldn't see myself crying at all, but when you go down there and you hear the talk of what happened to Hussein, something comes over you, you know, it's like, you can't help but cry, you know, so that in itself was a bit of a shocker, but, you know, that's fine. We're quite close, yeah, very close. We talk to her about everything, basically. It's the same, vice versa. Yeah. Anything she knows, she'll tell me, and that's where I get all my knowledge from, mostly. I do a little bit of self-research here and there, but not as much as my mum. You know? From what she's achieved, she's brought quite a few people to Shiism, but you know, obviously Allah is the one that guides, but my mum has been used as a tool, which is, you know, a very good thing.
More proud of you though.
But, you know,
Just okay.